Hey guys, it's Lee. Now, with the recent arrival of the Sony A6700, you've probably been giving the side eye to your Sony A6400, and you've probably been wondering if the differences between what you have now and the Sony A6700 are enough to warrant an upgrade. Now, in this video, I'm going to cover the main differences between the A6400 and the A6700, and as long as you watch this video until the very end, you'll be able to determine if those differences are significant enough for those of you considering upgrading. So let's just get right into the video and talk about the sensor. Now, the Sony A6700 has the same exact 26 megapixel backside illuminated CMOS sensor that's used in the Sony FX30 cinema camera. And on top of that, it's powered by the latest Bions XR processor. Now, the older A6400, on the other hand, has a 24 megapixel CMOS sensor, which has slightly less resolution and has a slightly older Bions X processor. Now, if we move over to image quality, overall, you're going to see pretty similar performance when it comes down to taking still photographs. However, the A6700's backed illuminated sensor technically should perform slightly better in low light. But the biggest difference really between these two cameras is going to really show when it comes down to video. Now, when compared to the A6400, the A6700 really has an advanced set of video recording specs and capabilities. And when it comes down to recording specs, the A6400 can record 4K videos, 8-bit 420 internally, and also externally it can record 8-bit 422 if you have an external HDMI recorder. And it can also record full 1080p at 120 frames per second with the dedicated S&Q mode as well. But unfortunately, you won't be able to record 4K 60 or record in 10-bit video with this A6400. But with the A6700, you're actually able to capture oversampled 4K from 6K at up to 60p, and you can also shoot 4K 120p with a 1.62 crop. And it can also record 10-bit 422, and also if you wish, you can shoot up to 240 frames per second at 1080p. Now guys, this is the massive difference I was just talking about between these two cameras. And moving on to some other differences, in-body image stabilization. The A6400 has 0 stabilization. The A6700 has 5-axis optical in-body image stabilization and is actually rated for up to 5 stops. So this is huge for video and also really useful when it comes down to photo. Now, autofocus is another area where you're really going to start to see the divide when it comes down to these cameras, when it comes down to performance. Now, don't get me wrong, the autofocus, is really great with the A6400 and it's amazing, but the A6700 is really, really good. And the A6700 has 759 phase detection points, and it can also work all the way down to -3 EV in low light. And the A6400 has 425 phase detection points, but it can only work down to -2 EV in low light. So by far the biggest difference though between both of these is the autofocus system and the A6700. The A6700 has a new AI processor chip that basically takes this entire system to a completely different level. Basically what it does is it allows this camera to basically increase the ability to detect and track subjects such as humans, animals, birds, and it goes crazy, like insects, planes, like cars, trains, airplanes. Like it's so much stuff that this camera does. And also it has an upgrade when it comes down to animal and bird detection as well. It's been hugely improved because with the A6400, for instance, it could only auto track the eye, but now you have the ability to actually track the head and body of your subjects as well when it comes down to animals and birds. Now, another big difference as well, not as exciting, but it's ergonomics, okay? It's ergonomics. But let's face it, it's important when we use these cameras every day. The A6700 has a deeper grip, it has a fully articulating screen. They moved the record button to the top of the camera from the side. It doesn't have the in-body flash anymore. They did move the SD card slot from the bottom of the camera to the side of the camera, and they also added a new wheel on the front near the trigger, which is very similar to some of the other full frame cameras. And they also added a photo, video, and S&Q dial as well. And you also get one extra custom button as well to make this camera more of your own. Now, in my opinion, I think that the A6700's button layout just feels a little bit more at home. Not that the A6400 doesn't feel good, it's just that it's an improvement as it should be, right? Next, we're going to move over to burst mode. Now, while both of these cameras can shoot 11 frames per second in burst mode, the most significant difference that you're going to see between these cameras when it comes down to this is the buffer size. The A6700 has a larger buffer than the a6400, which basically means that you'll be able to shoot longer bursts before the burst rate starts to slow down. Also, the a6700 can shoot 11 frames per second in both the mechanical or electronic shutter, whereas the a6400 is limited only with that silent, electronic shutter at 11 frames per second. Another difference, which is going to be noticeable in both, obviously visually and also in performance, is going to be the batteries. The a6700 utilizes the tried and true large NP FC100 batteries that I have in all of my other Sony cameras. And the a6400 uses the smaller NP FW50 batteries, which also have a lower capacity as well. Another upgrade or difference between these cameras is that the a6700 opens up access to faster SD cards. So you have access to UHS 2 memory cards, while the a6400 uses the slower UHS 1 cards. Now, you're probably wondering at this point, is this camera actually worth upgrading? Now, if you take all these differences into consideration, the a6400 is really going to be best for that beginner photographer, that beginner hobbyist, somebody who just mainly takes photos, maybe dabbles in video a little bit, and that's about it. The a6700 is going to be better for folks who have that true hybrid workflow, folks who are really just taking a lot of photos. They're taking pictures of birds, insects, cars, fast moving objects, and things like that. And also somebody who wants to have access to that better video capability that it's packed in here as well. So again, you get that crispy 4K video that's downsampled from 6K in this camera, which is phenomenal. You also have access to 10-bit video as well. You can shoot S-Log3, S-Cinetone, S-Log2, so many different profiles jam-packed in here, but you have more dynamic range when it comes down to the video that's going to come out of this camera than you're going to have with the a6400. So this is also going to be really great for people who are just getting into videography as well, but also want a camera that's going to allow them to take a lot of photos as well, because even though this is the same sensor as this FX30, you're not going to be able to take pictures and things like that with the FX30 like you will with this one. And this is a bit more of a hybrid camera as well. That's who this camera is going to be for. Now, if you don't have either one of these and you're just looking to get into this world of APS-C cameras and you are just primarily going to be shooting photo, I say definitely go ahead and go with the a6400. This is a really great place to start. The autofocus is phenomenal. You're not going to be upset if you get this camera, but if you want something that's newer, that's better, that has more video capabilities, and you're in this for the long haul, this is going to be the better camera for you, that a6700. So it really is up to you. Now, I'm also curious how you guys are going to be using this gear as well. So leave me a comment below and let me know how you plan on using these cameras or how you currently use them. Also, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up sign for me. Also, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button for more videos just like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.